Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Shannon if you haven't been here before, and this is Silvousplaits hairstyling. Today we're going to do another historical hair tutorial, and instead of doing the sort of ancient, centuries old styles I've done with my other historical tutorials, today I want to do something that I really enjoy personally as an aesthetic, and that is the late 1800s in Europe and the US. In this period, you get really big, poofy, fancy updos. This period really embraces the grandiose of what you can do with hair without getting ridiculous, in my opinion. So these would make some very beautiful inspirations for wedding looks, fancy formal galas, and things like that. These looks will let you channel the ballrooms of St. Petersburg or the fashionable streets of Paris. So without further ado, let's learn how to do our hair like the late 1800s. First, let's talk generally about hairstyling in this period, or as they called it, hairdressing. People with thinner hair may look at these images of big, fluffy hairdos and wonder how on earth did women achieve these? Well, in this time period, if you were wealthy, you were almost certainly wearing a ton of false hair added to your own. Just as we now like to accentuate the hourglass shape in our bodies between the hips, waist, and bust, women at this time also liked to emphasize another hourglass shape between the bust, neck, and hair. Buying and maintaining a collection of false hair was not exactly cheap, so the amount of hair you could pile on your head was another sign of your economic status. In fact, poor women often sold their hair to make extra money. Families could sometimes be seen auctioning off their daughters' long locks at the market, and there were professional hair hunters that combed through the countryside for women with long, curly, and thick hair. Lighter hair colors were especially valuable. When wearing false hair, it could be added to the head in a myriad of ways. You could braid it into a separate braid that you then pin to the head. You could attach it to hair combs or a ring to secure it around a bun of one's own hair. And then there was the famous hair rat. Free strands of hair, either purchased or accumulated from one's own hairbrush, and they were balled up and formed into clumps that you could pin to your own hair at the roots, and then drape your hair over it so it looked like you had a lot more natural volume. For this first hairstyle of the video, we're going to follow this old hair tutorial from an 1882 beauty publication that relies on pinning extra hair into your style. In modern times, hair extensions are less common, but can still be purchased to add volume, either in real human hair form or synthetic versions. You can buy free hanging hair, clip-in extensions, or pay the big bucks to get semi-permanent extensions sewn to your head by a stylist. Putting in extra extensions also makes the length of your natural hair less relevant. To start this style, make a very slight side part. Then section off the hair on the front sides of your head by drawing vertical parts from your top center part down to behind your ears. Keep this hair separated from the rest with a clip or hair tie. Next, gather the rest of your hair to the middle of the back of your head. Twist it up tightly and spiral it into a bun. Use pins to hold the bun in place. Specifically, the kinds of hairpins used at the time looked like this. A bent bit of thin wire where the legs don't touch, unlike with bobby pins today. You can't just push them into the hair like with bobby pins or they fall out. Instead, first push them into some bun hair angled away from the center of the bun. Then adjust the angle inward as you scoop up some scalp hair with the legs, and then push the pin all the way in. Add pins to your bun this way to secure it in place. Next, release the side sections of hair and tease the crap out of them at the roots. We want a big fluffy silhouette in the front. You can use a brush with boar bristles to achieve the teasing, or a small tooth comb. The later is my preference, as someone with naturally really smooth hair that likes to sit as flat as possible. Once teased, drape these sections back towards the bun and pin them there. Use a comb to smooth the top of the sections, but do your best not to flatten them out at all. Now we add in our hair extensions all around the bun. The ones I'm using are sections of clip-ins, like in the beauty journal tutorial. You'll want to use quite a lot, like an entire set of clip-ins. We need a thick chunk of hair back here. In fact, if your hair is on the longer side, you can leave some of your own hair hanging free as well. We just need at least a small partial bun at the back of the head to anchor the hairstyle to and provide a scaffold to clip the extensions to. Once all of that is in place, divide the hanging hair into 3 strands and do a normal 3-strand braid all the way to the ends. Coil this braid up on the back of the head, making a loose circle around the shape of your bun anchor. Make sure any extension clips are hidden. Then use hairpins to secure the braid in place. Finally, you can add some hair jewelry, like these little flower pins all over your updo, as women at this time love decorative hair combs and bits of jewelry. With that, you've finished this fancy 1880s updo. The next hairstyle we'll try from the 1880s features another way to add an extra hair. Instead of integrating it into your own, you can essentially create a fully formed updo shape with the fake hair and then just tack it on to the back of the head. Women would either make a braided bun out of this hair, or weave sections of loose hair around specialty hair combs that looked like this. The results gave the appearance of an intricate updo at the back of the head. This style also shows off some curly hair fashion of the time. It was not uncommon to feature tiny, frizzy curls on top of the head or around the face. These added softness and more volume to hairstyles. You could accomplish these a number of ways. First, as a heatless method, you could wrap small sections of damp hair in a figure 8 around pins, or as barrel curls around a strip of cloth. Then fold the pins or tie the ends of the cloth to hold the curl, and let the hair dry in this way. Curling irons were also coming into use around this time, so some tech-savvy ladies could use these early irons to curl their hair. More traditionally, wig makers preferred a technique called papillote curling, where you curled up small sections of hair, folded that into triangles of wax paper, and then used a fire-heated metal clamp to press on this paper before letting the hair cool in place and unfolding the paper. That's the technique I'm going to use in this video because it's fastest. Hair historian Janet Stevens has a great detailed video on this, which I'll link above. To begin this style, again section off a panel of hair on each side of the head. Tie the rest of your hair out of the way for now. Prep the side panels with heat protectant if you're using a heat curling method, and then start splitting off very small bits of hair, like a centimeter or less in thickness. Coil this around a finger or two, slide it off, and fold it into a triangle of wax paper, or tinfoil works too. Then use a modern version of the hair clamp, like a straightening iron, to heat the coil of hair for several seconds, then let it hang to cool. Do this for the entirety of the hair you sectioned off. This is pretty time consuming, FYI. When you've curled all the hair and let it cool, you can simply pull the fold of the paper or foil off the curl, and you have a nice springy coil of hair. So now that your front section of hair is curled, let's continue with the hairstyle. Gather the curly hair at the top of your head and brush it a bit to fluff out the curls. Backcomb the roots of this hair as well. Then fold up the section of hair and pin it to the top of your head. Brush the remaining side curls backwards and pin them to the back of your head. Twist up the rest of your hair and pin it in a flat circle on the back of your head. And now for the party piece. I'm going to take a thick section of free hanging false hair and make a twisted updo shape to put on the back of my head. This just entails twisting up the section of hair until it folds back on itself and makes a rope braid looking shape. Tie the ends of the hair with an elastic to keep it from unraveling. Then simply pin this twist shape to the back of the head. Hide and pin any raw ends of hair so that they don't stick out in the finished look. And like previously mentioned, hair fork decorations were all the rage, so feel free to stick one in there to help both the hairpiece stay in place and to spice up the hairstyle. Thus the finished twisted updo would look something like this. For the final style, we'll try this curly updo from 1872. Now, adding an extra hair would make this style look bigger and fuller, but not everyone had the means to buy all that material, obviously. So for this final style, let's try out a look that can still be achieved with only your own hair. Curly hair helps add volume, so if you have naturally curly hair, you have a leg up in this. If not, curl the front side panels of hair again like we did in the last hairstyle. Keep them separate from the rest of the hair for now. Then pick up the top half of the remaining hair at the back of your head and brush it into a high ponytail. While hair elastics weren't a thing yet, you could tie a ponytail with just a couple pins if you had long hair. Grab a small bit of hair from this ponytail and very tightly wrap it around the base of the ponytail. When you get to the end of the section, pin it down with a couple hairpins. This ponytail probably wouldn't survive a vigorous workout, but it'll do the job of anchoring the updo we're about to make. Collect up all the front curly hair and brush it back towards the ponytail. With pins, secure these curls to the front of the ponytail. Bunch up the hanging part of the curls and pin as well to the front half of the ponytail to make a puffy nest of curls. Now, if we were doing the style with added hair, we'd make a bun with the ponytail hair and then pin a rope braid of fake hair around the bun and the curl nest. But we can also split the ponytail hair into two halves, rope braid these two halves together, and drape the braid around the curl nest and the ponytail base. Use pins to hold the braid in place. Next, spend some more time curling the rest of your hair if it's straight. Then brush this curly hair upward and pin to the back side of the ponytail base. Once secured, you can let the curl ends of the hair hang down free. If there are any weirdly long ones you don't like or bits of frizz sticking out, adjust the look with some added pins until you like the shape of your style. You're now done! This would be a much bigger hairstyle if we had added in extra hair like in the previous two looks, but this just goes to show you can still be a fashionable 1800s lady without a bunch of hair extensions if you don't have them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these fashionable historical hairstyles. If your history itch isn't quite scratched yet, I have a few other tutorials on my channel for authentic historical looks of various historical time periods. And if you enjoy this channel and would like to help it keep running, please consider donating to my Patreon page, which is linked above there. Patrons get early access to new videos as well as input on future tutorials, what you'd like to do as a giveaway, and special access to things like that. Happy hairstyling, everyone! I hope you have a great day.